The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 3 is out now on Disney Plus. We're going to tell you what we think about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to Fly By Night Reviews. I'm your host, Kiren.
And Dom.
Today we're going to review Episode 3 of The Mandalorian Season 3 called The Convert. What did you give this out of 10?
10, I would give it about... I'd go with the 7. Solid 7.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a little bit higher. Actually, I really like this episode a lot. I'll give it a 9.
Oh, okay.
Surprisingly, I like this episode because obviously the opening scene kind of left off from when the last episode, and I was like, okay, they're gonna like sort of maybe explore more of Bo-Katan's story, whatever. But it was like literally,
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, but
yeah, they kind of pulled a book of Boba Fett where it started off with this like really awesome like TIE fighter scene, and then you think it's going to be like about them, and then all of a sudden it just cuts away and then kind of rewinds back to I think Pershing. He's the clone scientist person,
right?
And another character who I think her name was Elia or something. I recognized her like briefly.
Yeah, it took me a while to realize like, oh yeah, she was in Ant-Man and the Quantumanium.
Yeah, I think that's why I kind of recognized her more, because I saw her in that and I saw her in this and I was like, okay. But then they kind of did the recap, and then it showed, you know, the past season with Moff Gideon and everything. But yeah, to be honest, like, this episode was very, like, I was kind of critical of Andor a lot, you know, but this one actually was a lot like Andor. It felt like Andor. I don't know if you guys seen Andor already, but there's a character in that, and he's very similar to Pershing, where he's kind of like, you know, almost like shy type person,
right?
Not very, like, it just kind of mirrored that, and for whatever reason, I kind of liked it. Like, I liked the world building, you know, like seeing Coruscant and you know, going back to sort of like prequel era, which I'm not like a huge fan of, but I can understand.
Same, yeah.
You know, when it's done well, like it's kind of like, you know,
when it hits right, it hits well.
It's like nostalgia or whatever.
Right.
Like what did you think of like I know you didn't really watch Andor that much. You didn't finish the season.
Yeah, I didn't finish Andor, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. It just, you kind of like, you get that whole that intro with the dogfight and going off into the hyperspace, and then you kind of like, okay, let's continue that, and then it's kind of shifts. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it just, that shift kind of just like, oh, okay. But then you get some of the resolution with the end of the...
Yeah, I don't know if that's just going to be their thing now, is it's their way to sort of fill in the gaps. I know for sure where they're kind of headed towards a story. Like, they're definitely hinting kind of to sort of connect the dots between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy.
Oh yeah,
with
definitely sowing the seeds for the First Order and all that.
Yeah, and that was a cool thing I really liked about it, because it was almost like the reverse of the Rebellion, where it was like, it's sort of like, you know, Elia's character, like, she basically sort of lures Pershing, and it's almost like, is she still part of the Empire? Like, that was another thing, is like, after watching the episode, it's kind of like really left up in the air. It's like, okay, is she still on the Empire side, or are the other people that were working with her part of the Empire too, or was she just kind of like incognito or something? And
is she still, or is she like just loyal to Gideon, or what else? Yeah,
like so there's a lot of questions. And then, you know, like when they go to like the old Star Destroyer to pick up those parts, so you could kind of
right.
study or start, because he was in the beginning he was talking about cloning and thinking it would be good for the rebellion, or not the rebellion, the Republic.
The New Republic, yeah.
The New Republic, and he was really set on like trying to continue his research about that.
Oh yeah, and trying to like help like with like cloned organs or something, so that something's wrong with their organs, they can just
So he kind of wanted to continue that research in a good way, or like in a positive way, but then it almost seemed like Elliot was like, okay, he's still on board, and then I'm gonna lure him, and then I'm gonna have him pick up these things so he can actually like continue his research.
Right.
But then them getting caught, obviously she knew they were gonna get caught.
Set him up.
Yeah, she basically set him up. So I don't know what that whole, because I know like he gets put in that weird machine where it's like it's either erasing his, it's either erasing his memory, or it's like altering it or giving him more information. Like that's
I wasn't clear on what exactly that thing was doing to his brain, but yeah, it was that was weird.
Yeah, that was a bit confusing, because it's like why did she pick him? Why couldn't she just go and get this stuff herself?
Right.
Maybe he knew what to get, and then why not just have him work with her?
Right.
I guess we'll find this out, later on this season, hopefully. But but yeah, I definitely like that. I like that dynamic. It was like kind of, I knew there was something up with her, like, even when he was like, they were asking him like, oh, what do you miss about the Empire? And he's like, oh, they're these biscuits or these kind of cookie type things.
Yeah, those yellow biscuits.
And the moment he gets a box of them, it's like, okay, it's kind of a cool angle of like, just because they're rehabilitated supposedly from the Empire, they still like have that kind of like, they were used to that, working with them, and
they have stuff that they miss.
Yeah. So it kind of added a cool human element to the Empire side, which we don't really see that often. Like we only see kind of like the Rebellion side.
Yeah.
So that was cool. What else? So it just ends like after that machine thing's like whatever he's doing to his brain.
You get that weird look on her face too, and okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay, and then it's like she turns a knob higher. And then all of a sudden it kind of goes back to Din and Bo-Katan and stuff. And that's like, okay, I see where they're kind of going with this. And then they go back to the Mandalore hideout where the forger is and everything. And it's like, oh yeah, you both are like...
Oh yeah, you both are cleansed or whatever. Yeah. That was interesting. But yeah, it was like... When I saw the title of the episode, it's like, oh, okay, so does this mean Bo-Katan is going to be converting to like the old ways, and she's going to not take her helmet off, or what? Or is she just going to be going with this until she sees an opening where she can rule or something?
Yeah, it's all. See, I took the title of the episode as convert, like maybe the Empire, the people who are rehabilitated or rehabilitated.
Right.
Those are the converts, but I was like, that actually makes more sense. Now that I'm like, okay, they're probably talking about Bo-Katan.
Well, actually, I think they ended up doing it for both.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I like this episode a lot. It was definitely the longest episode.
Oh yeah,
it was like 58 minutes when I was like watching. I was like, wow, this is like freaking long.
I didn't feel it.
Yeah, it was good. It was like, it had some good moments. It was very like, it was very story driven, but then it was interesting, like kind of seeing Coruscant and I love how they're going to link the sequels. I like the sequel trilogy a lot, and all that stuff's going to be cool to kind of see what they do. And but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but yeah.
Well, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if you like the video, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let us know what you think of this episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let us know. On that note, we will see you next time.
Peace.